Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be talking about my top 10 movies of 2022. And to preface, I have seen 125 movies that are released this year. And before we get into top 10, let's start with the honorable mentions. Alright, start with honorable mentions. I got 5 for you. I got The Northman. Really like the gritty Viking story with Alexander Skarsgård performing really well. I got The Menu. Ralph Fiennes was excellent. Nicholas Hoult was excellent. And Anya Taylor-Joy was also excellent in this weird movie about food and how he likes it prepared. I really enjoyed it. Next up, we got Scream that released way earlier this year. I love the killer story, and I haven't liked a Scream movie this much since the first one, all the way back when it first came out. And next up, we got Elvis. I love the story of Elvis, and Austin Butler did really well in this. Tom Hanks was okay, but I liked him more than a lot of other people. And last honorable mention is Bones and All. I loved this movie, even though it's kind of like really dark and there's a lot of gore in it. Its story is a little hard to watch, but I loved it and loved the performances. Now on to the top 10.
Really, Duke?
Oh my God!
Really?
Alright, number 10 has to be Glass Onion, A Knives Out Mystery, directed by Rian Johnson. I love this sequel, and it is not as good as the first Knives Out, but it almost gets to that level. And I found it to be more funny than the first one, but the mystery wasn't as good as the first one. But I think the script was excellent. The cast was really good. It's a laugh out loud comedy, and the mystery was very engaging with it not being too simple or too overdone or concept. And I look forward to seeing the third installment in this series coming up soon.
Party, it's my brother, Andrew. Or should I say, the jig conductor.
Alright, number 9 on my list has to be Cha Cha Real Smooth, directed and written by Cooper Raiff. I'm kind of new to Cooper Raiff's films, but I really like his style, and this film was no different. It's an Apple Plus movie released all the way back in June, and stayed in my top 10 for quite a long time, and I adore this movie and what it's trying to say. Sometimes it's tragic, but it's also very heartfelt. There's a lot of funny moments to it too that you aren't expecting from this kind of movie. It's kind of like a coming-of-age movie, but also kind of like a heartbreaking love story. And the screenplay, I think, is really good, but it won't get noticed at the Oscars. And it's probably Dakota Johnson's best role of all time. Alright, number 8 on my best films of the year has to be Nope, directed by Jordan Peele. I think Get Out is one of my favorite films of all time by him. But I think Us, his film after Get Out, it's kind of a letdown. But Nope brings it back up. This film was just, you couldn't guess what was going to happen next. You thought it was an alien story, but it's also like a weird comedy of how everyone wants to get a spectacle and the perfect shot. I loved how scary it was. There was a lot of tense moments, and the cinematography in this movie is outstanding. Keke Palmer and Daniel Kaluuya perform excellent in this role. I can't wait to see what he's cooking up next.
It's because of you.
Alright, number 7 on my best of 2022 is Babylon, directed by Damien Chazelle. I think Damien Chazelle has made 4 great movies. He's yet to make a bad movie, and this movie is like a fever dream. I've reviewed it on the channel, and I think that the music is excellent, the casting is excellent, cinematography is outstanding, editing is fabulous. This movie just keeps getting better and better on rewatch. I love watching some different scenes in it, but I think that on my second watch, some of the movie has gotten a little worse. There's like 20 minutes you could cut off, but overall, I really did love this movie by Damien Chazelle.
Family, art. It'll tear you in two.
Alright, number 6 is The Fabelmans, directed by Steven Spielberg. West Side Story was one of my favorite films of last year, so I was excited that he was releasing another movie this year. And The Fabelmans was an awesome journey because it was like a semi-autobiographical film about himself and how he got into the filmmaking world and where he came from and how his family was and about his parents' divorce. I really did love it, and the script was amazing. Paul Dano was amazing. Michelle Williams and Gabriel LaBelle are really captivating in this movie. If you haven't seen it, you should really see it.
Relax.
Alright, my 5th best film of the year. People might be expecting this one at 1, but it's Everything Everywhere All at Once. This film left me speechless as the credits started rolling. I didn't know what to think, but I think this is probably the best multiverse movie of the year, beating out Multiverse of Madness. The Daniels directed this and Swiss Army Man, which was one of my favorite films of 2016. And the idea of this movie was pure madness, but it was also genius to watch unfold. I could talk about this movie all day and write a freaking essay on this movie because it's crafted so well. Before my Oscar picks in March, I will say that I think Michelle Yeoh and Ki Hugh Kwan should both win Oscars for their stunning performances. It's captivating how well they act in this movie.
We have here. Yeah, here I thought we were special.
Fellas, this here's Bagman.
Hangman.
Alright, my fourth best movie of the year is Top Gun Maverick, directed by Joseph Kosinski. Joseph Kosinski has made films like Tron, Oblivion, and Only the Brave, which I think are all pretty good movies. And before we start, I want to say that I didn't see the first Top Gun before the year started, but I watched it. I liked it. It wasn't great, but I saw Top Gun Maverick, and I absolutely love that movie, and it's currently my most rewatched movie of 2022. I think I've seen it about 4 or 5 times, and it's just such an experience. It's probably my second favorite experience in the movie theater this year. Such a fun film to relax to put on. I think Tom Cruise is excellent in this movie, and I think he should get an Oscar nomination for this movie. And I can't wait to see what he does next in Mission Impossible 8 next year.
That's a warning.
Alright, my third best movie of the year. These top 3 are interchangeable, but number 3 is The Batman, directed by Matt Reeves. I love Matt Reeves' other movies, and The Batman is no different. We finally got to see a new Batman story, and it did not disappoint. I was nervous to see how Robert Pattinson was going to do as Batman since I watched Twilight, and he's not the best in that, but he is my favorite Batman to date, and he sold me from the trailer. Greg Fraser also provides some of my favorite cinematography of the year after he did Dune last year, which I loved. And the whole cast is excellent. Standouts were Zoe Kravitz, Paul Dano, Colin Farrell, and Jeffrey Wright as the new Gordon. This film was just insane to watch. Probably my favorite Batman movie, switching with The Dark Knight and this. But I find like The Batman is more rewatchable, but The Dark Knight does have a better villain. But overall, The Batman is one of my favorite movies of 2022. I loved it. It's such a nitty-gritty detective story. I can't wait to watch it again.
Let's get it done.
Alright, my second favorite movie of the year is Avatar: The Way of Water, directed by James Cameron. This is probably one of my favorite experiences in a movie theater to date in my whole entire life, and probably the most visually stunning movie I've ever seen in my whole life. The sequel was definitely worth waiting the years for, and I think the first Avatar, I love that movie. This one, I absolutely adore this movie. I've seen it 3 times in the theaters, and I cannot wait to own it, to watch even more. It's a 3-hour movie, but it doesn't even feel 3 hours. It feels maybe like 2 hours, 15 minutes. You can easily pop it on, have such a wonderful experience. The returning cast was excellent, and I think that the new cast was also great. Cinematography's up there. The script does struggle at sometimes, but I feel like the story is just really heartfelt and strong that it keeps it together.
I didn't do anything to me. I just don't like you no more.
Alright, we got to it. My favorite movie of 2022 is The Banshees of Inisherin, directed by Martin McDonagh, who also did In Bruges and 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. I love those 2 films. This movie, I was worried I wouldn't like it as much, but I think this is his best film to date. And I think the way McDonagh makes his movies is so thoughtful to his characters, and its scripts are always so detailed and captivating. Everyone in this cast shines, but Colin Farrell is the main standout, and I think he should win the Oscar for Best Actor this year. This movie made me care so much for a donkey also. It's so hilarious, but it's also so saddening how the story ends up. And I think I could write a whole essay on this movie as well. I could talk about this movie all day. I've seen it 3 times. I just want to watch it over and over again, even though how sad it makes me in the end. Alright, that was my top 10 movies of this year. Leave yours down below in the comments. Also, like the video, subscribe, because my next video is going to be top 10 most anticipated movies of 2022. See you there.